Well, back from Arizona, back from my trip to the Cactus League, did a lot of amazing things out there, and I was hoping that my first video back from this trip would be something great. Unfortunately, that's not the case because there has been some stuff going on in the world, going on in the news, that's going to have an impact on not only our lives, but pretty much everybody's lives in the world. Of course, that has to do with a certain disease. It's going to remain nameless in this video, but I think we all know what we're talking about here. No, YouTube does some stuff, I'm not going to name it. And over the last few days, and honestly, over the last 24 hours, this has really escalated to almost to the level of panic right now. I'm not necessarily freaking out, but it's definitely important to know what's going on, to know that this is serious, and to treat it as so. Now, on this channel, we always talk about baseball, and that's how I'm going to relate this to this video, because of course, this has now had an impact on the Major League Baseball season, what's going on with baseball this year, and what's going to happen possibly for the 2020 season. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about what's going on right now, what I expect to happen, when we can expect baseball to be back, because yes, as of right now, baseball is canceled, or I should say suspended. That's the better word to use. But I'm going to give you my thoughts, my opinions, my input on what I think is going to be going on, what's going to be happening over the next weeks, months, who knows. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like on it. That's the best way to show your support. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you enjoy the content. If you love baseball, click that sub button, join the team. Remember to get in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on what's going on with this whole scenario with Major League Baseball and the disease. And remember, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links in the description, always talking baseball over there. So yesterday, we saw the NBA season get suspended for an indefinite amount of time. Rudy Gobert, a player in the NBA for the Utah Jazz, ended up getting sick, and he actually gave it to a teammate, Donovan Mitchell, just kind of making it almost more tangible, or making it feel more real when you can see famous people or athletes getting this disease. It's not just them, Tom Hanks, his wife. There's a bunch of people who are out there getting this disease. This is something serious. Major League Baseball was one of the few leagues that really hadn't made any statement, any sort of decision on what they were going to do with the Major League Baseball season, spring training, the players. There really hadn't been much coming from Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred. Pretty much the only thing that we heard was that media was no longer going to be allowed into the clubhouse. It was going to be restricted media access. Some players, teams, they were saying they were no longer going to be signing autographs, limit the interaction between players and people, because obviously baseball stadiums, a huge part of baseball games is autographs before the game, meeting your favorite players. There's a lot of interaction there, and with all these fans coming in from different areas, different states, sometimes different countries, probably want to limit that with how this thing is spreading right now and how serious it can be, because some people don't even necessarily know if they're sick when they're there. This stuff can stay dormant for quite some time, and you want to limit the damage as much as possible. So up until today, that's what Major League Baseball did. They were pretty much just limiting media access. They were limiting fan access, I guess, essentially. There was maybe some thought about playing the game in front of an empty stadium, but they've come to a decision, and I don't think that it's actually too drastic. I think it's the right decision that Major League Baseball made. I think it was the decision that needed to be made, and I'll tell you why. So, Major League Baseball right now, the season is suspended indefinitely. The last spring training game was played, I think, at 1 o'clock today. There was nothing happening after 4. Everything was canceled, suspended. Spring training is officially over. Players can decide whether or not they want to stay in Florida or stay in Arizona with the team at the facilities, with the doctors there monitoring all the stuff. They can continue, I guess, to work out and do everything just normal, but there's no real games. There's gonna be no fan interaction. Or they can go home, they can spend time with their family. They can make the decision whether or not they want to come, or they can stay, or they can go. As for the Major League Baseball season, it was scheduled to have opening day on March 26th, which was coming up in a couple weeks. Obviously, today's the 12th. I mean, 2 weeks from now was supposed to be opening day. That is going to be pushed back, and the date that they're pushing it back to is at least 2 weeks from now. Now, realistically, do I see this being only a 2-week thing? No. I don't think that we're going to be seeing opening day until probably May 1st. That's what it feels like in my head the most makes sense. It just doesn't seem like right now 2 weeks is going to be the end of what's going on right now with this disease in America, in the world. We still feel like what has a long time ahead of us, and I think to say that 2 weeks at least is a good move there, because let's say for some reason all this stuff does start to get better. It does start to blow over. It's not as serious as we once thought, which, let's be honest, that's not going to happen. But let's just say the best case scenario, you start the season 2 weeks later. It's right around the second week of April. You're really not going too late into November for the World Series if you keep everything on schedule. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, obviously, is that the entire season gets canceled, which I don't think that's a possibility either. I don't think that there's any chance that we see no games being played. That would really be drastic. At that point, if something's happening, we are in serious trouble, because this is no longer just a whole sports thing and an entertainment thing. This is a whole world scare. You need to be careful. So I don't think that either of those two extremes are going to happen. I think what you're going to end up seeing, like I said, is probably around the beginning of May, we're going to see our official opening day. Whether or not Major League Baseball does the full 162, that's still up for debate. There's not a whole lot of information out here. They did give us a press release statement, which I will read shortly, but there's not a whole lot of information as to what the season's going to hold, whether or not there's going to be an extended spring training after they announce the suspension of the league, whether or not teams are going to be playing the same schedule, whether or not the games that missed are going to be pushed now to the new opening day date, whether or not the World Series is going to be in October, November. Everything is kind of still up in the air, but the only official things that we do know right now is that Major League Baseball Baseball, the schedule, opening day is going to be pushed back for 2 weeks at least, and that spring training is over. There are no more baseball games being played for at least 2 weeks. So I mentioned that press release by Major League Baseball. Let's go ahead, read that, go through it for you. For immediate release, Major League Baseball to delay 2020 opening day by at least 2 weeks. Spring training games canceled as of 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. World Baseball Classic qualifier games postponed. MLB will continue to evaluate ongoing events and effects on 2020 scheduling. Following a call with the 30 clubs and after consultation with Major League Baseball Players Association, Commissioner Robert D. Manfred Jr. today announced that Major League Baseball has decided to suspend spring training games and delay the start of the 2020 regular season by at least 2 weeks due to the national emergency created by the pandemic. This action is being taken in the interest of the safety and well-being of our players, clubs, and our millions of loyal fans. MLB will continue to evaluate ongoing events leading up to the start of the season. Guidance related to daily operations and workouts will be relayed to clubs in the coming days. As of 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, forthcoming spring training games have been canceled, and the 2020 World Baseball Qualifier games in Tucson, Arizona have been postponed indefinitely. MLB and the clubs have been preparing a variety of contingency plans regarding the 2020 regular season schedule. MLB will announce the effects on the schedule at an appropriate time and will remain flexible as events warrant, with the hope of resuming normal operations as soon as possible. Nothing is more important to us than the health and safety of our players, employees, and fans. MLB will continue to undertake the precaution and best practices recommended by public health experts. We send our best wishes to all individuals and communities that have been impacted by the disease. So that statement pretty much goes over everything that I've already said in this video. The 2020 season is going to be delayed by at least 2 weeks for opening day. The World Baseball Classic qualifiers are postponed indefinitely, which honestly can be postponed for quite some time. I know the World Baseball Classic is coming up very, very soon, but there's no reason for those games to have to be forced to be played right now when most of the teams in the qualifiers are made of players that are not in Major League Baseball right now, so there's no real reason to rush into that. The big thing to note though, delay of Major League Baseball season. We don't really know when it's going to be coming back. We don't know what the new season is going to look like. As of right now, it doesn't seem like anybody in Major League Baseball has really been impacted player-wise by this disease. There is a guy in the front office for the Mets, Donovan Mitchell's dad, who actually has it. Got it from Donovan Mitchell, who seemed to have gotten it from Rudy Gobert. So it just shows that this thing can spread, and it can spread very quickly, and it can make a huge impact on your life and all this kind of stuff. It's something to be taken seriously. I think Major League Baseball made the right decision by doing this. Yes, it's tough. I want baseball as much as everybody else who's probably watching this video. It's going to stink that we're not going to see baseball for at least what feels like another month, maybe even 2. But in order for life to return to normal, in order for everything to go back to the way it was, I think that this is the appropriate action that Major League Baseball took. I think Rob Manfred came out, could have done it a little bit quicker, but honestly, I can understand not wanting to make a rash decision before getting all the facts and information. I think this was the right move by him, so, you know, I got to give Rob Manfred a little bit of applause here. As much as I want baseball to be on as soon as possible, there's no reason to risk the lives and the health of everybody involved. Fans, players, employees, anybody, no reason to do that over a game of baseball. So what should Major League Baseball do when this season does resume? Because I'm fully under the impression that we're going to have baseball this year. I don't think that we're going to expect to see a full season canceled. That just doesn't seem like something that's realistic to me. I personally think that May 1st should be the target date. I think that obviously they're not going to come out with an official date because that's kind of dangerous, because when the date comes up and if something's not working, you don't want to count your chickens before they hatch. But right now, I think the realistic target date, you got to go for May 1st or the beginning of May. And I think that you end up having to cut the season down a little bit. There's no way that you can do 162 starting in May, because you're going to be playing deep into November. And let's say you get a team like the New York Yankees, like the New York Mets, like the Boston Red Sox. Let's just say the Colorado Rockies are in the World Series right now. At the end of November, it is going to be freezing cold. I mean, we're talking like sometimes in the teens. That is not baseball weather. You can't play baseball then. As a high school baseball player, when it got that cold, for guys throwing like 70, 80 miles an hour, it was miserable to play in. I couldn't imagine having to face somebody who's throwing 95 miles an hour in that weather. I can't imagine the effects that that cold has on a player's muscles who's going to be throwing that hard, who's going to be doing stuff at such a high velocity or at such high strength that really isn't like normal to do. So I think realistically for Major League Baseball, you can't continue with the 162 game schedule, which definitely throws off the entire plan for the season. But this is something that needs to be taken seriously, and I think that 162 would be a bad decision. You got to think that we're missing the entire month of April and the few games in March. So that's probably about like what, 26, 27 games. That puts us at right around 132 games. Let's just go right 130 right there. And through those 130 games, you kind of got to find that mix between like having your division games and out of division games and some interleague play. It's going to be super tough for them to figure out what to do in the future. I'm glad that I don't need to come up with this decision, because I really don't have an idea as to what I would do. This is something that we've never seen before in sports. This is something we really haven't seen in modern history, where something so big, so important has made such an impact on not only just the sports world, but the whole world in general. What you should take out of this: stay home, stay inside, wash your hands, be clean, don't be around people that are sick. If you are sick, go to the hospital, get treated. Don't just cough out in the open. Don't sneeze on other people. Just like be careful. I was supposed to go to Florida this weekend for spring training. Even before the news about Major League Baseball, I was canceling that trip. There was just no way I was risking it. It wasn't worth my time. Wasn't worth it. Had some awesome stuff planned, but I'll be able to do it in the future when everybody's feeling good, when everybody's feeling healthy. Biggest and most important thing right now, just stay safe. So that's pretty much the news for Major League Baseball. You can fully expect me to continue doing Major League Baseball content on this channel. I'm going to continue on as normal. I have so many things written on this whiteboard over here that I want to make videos about that I can now do almost because of this. There's going to be so much content coming at you guys. Don't worry, it's not going anywhere. I still got the vlogs from the past week where I was in Arizona. A lot of really good interviews, a lot of really good content out there. The channel will still be proceeding as normal. So I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you think Major League Baseball made the right decision? Do you think they acted in panic a little bit? I'd love to hear what you guys say in the comment section down below. Remember to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, as well as subscribe to the channel if you have not yet already. Click that sub button, join the team. And that's where I'm going to wrap up today's video. You guys know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video right here, as well as this is my most recent upload. So click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I do appreciate you. Stay safe, be smart, be careful. It's all going to be all right as long as we take the right steps forward. So just be smart, and hopefully we get some baseball soon. But I'll see you tomorrow for another video. Bye.